What is up, guys? Dan from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can make tight end delay fades work out of the gun bunch formation. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the Madden YouTube channel. If you guys want to take your game to the next level in Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault update, we take a look at the meta, or the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online gameplay. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. Most recently, I just released my gun doubles installation of the spread offensive game plan. This comprehensive look at the spread playbook gives you answers for everything that you'll see in online gameplay, whether that's the nickel 335 wide, the big nickel over G, the nickel 335 normal, the 146. You name it, the spread playbook has an answer for it. In fact, I think it is the best offensive playbook in the game once you learn how to make it easily digested. And that is exactly what I do on the website. I've broken this down in several game plan length installations, starting off with the 2x2 spread with over 2 hours of content, over 3 hours of content just in the spread ace portion of that game plan. And then I just released over 2 hours of content out of the spread doubles. I'll be following it up with the trip style sets, keeping these packages together so that way you guys can find the one that best fits your need, but also understand what all of those packages together do well in the event that you are stumped in the middle of a game. Okay, guys, without further ado, let's get into today's video. We're going to be talking about how you can control tight end delay fades in bunch. I think this was an intentional thing that EA programmed into the game. I think that they know that bunch is a really good formation. It's a popular formation every single year, and that also tight end delay fades are something that are very, very powerful. In fact, players are pretty much sick of them, right? So I want to go ahead and kind of talk about how to make this work. Obviously right here, I'm in the Washington offense. This was the offense I started off the year in. Yeah, I know I was in bunch to start off the year. That's a rarity. But I am going to go ahead and break down how this works here. So let's go ahead and put the ball on a hash and start off by showing you that tight end delay fades don't really listen to you when you put them on the field. So if I were to put Travis Kelce on a delay fade, he will kind of just do whatever the heck he wants. So let's say for whatever reason I want to run the early season meta mesh post setup with the wheel route to the sideline, the hitch underneath, and the post over the top. Normally you would think that the tight end would stay in, but the truth is he doesn't. He'll just release on his own, and that can sometimes be a good thing, and that can sometimes be a bad thing depending on the coverage call. So, you know, against Mabel coverage where there's only one zone in the middle of the field, not really that big a deal. Against some of the man coverage style defenses, sometimes the guy that's manned up on the tight end might get fooled by him staying into block and blitz, but oftentimes that's not the case. And when they end up covering it and he releases right away, obviously that's an option that will not be open. So that's not very good for us wanting to run the gun bunch. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick here. This trick only works in bunch. It does not work in bunch offset. So for those of you that are in the Carolina bunch, this will not work because the wrong player does what we need this player to do here, which is the tight end. All you have to do with this to make a tight end delay fade work is to motion the slot receiver across. And what you notice is that the tight end steps up onto the line, and then we could put him on a delay fade. Now, at this point, if I wanted to, I could motion back, and the tight end, because he's in a blocking assignment, will not step back off the line. Technically, this is an illegal formation. If we were to get down to brass tacks, this is an illegal formation. You have the tight end on the line of scrimmage. You have technically what is considered to be a split end right here in Tyreek Hill. He's not really a split end. He's technically in line. But then you also have this receiver who is on the line of scrimmage as well. So technically the only guys who could catch a pass right here are Watkins, Hill, Robinson, and Bell, but that's really neither here nor there. The game still allows Kelce to run his route. So now let's go ahead and get into how this would work. So let's say your opponent's in man coverage. We all know that you can glitch out man coverage by scrambling and making the man that is guarding the tight end chase the quarterback. So now the tight end stays in the block. I'm going to scramble, make his man blitz. Now I'm going to release the tight end, and he's wide open against the man coverage. So we've been there. Super easy, right? This is something that, has plagued the game all year long in terms of tight end delay fades. It's a real pain. If you guys struggle with stopping tight end delay fade rollouts, I've got content here on the YouTube channel, and I've definitely got shut down bunch tight end defense on Gridiron Game Plans if you guys need that. It is absolutely locked down. That bunch to munch tight end meta is really not something that gives us trouble over there on the website. But let's go ahead and get into how you can kind of mesh this into the rollout meta, the corner routes, the floods. How would you run meta bunch and incorporate the tight end delay fade now? So let's go ahead and talk about maybe a play like Z Spot and Go, or maybe a play like Flood. I'm going to go ahead and put them in my audibles for right now. So let's go ahead and come out in Z Spot and Go. Let's go ahead and show you that we have the Mabel set up here for 3-3-5 wide. So I'm going to come out in nickel 3-3-5 wide. We're skipping the whole act of putting safeties at linebacker here, because at this point in the year, if you don't know how to flood this coverage, if you've been watching this channel and you don't know how to flood the coverage, I recommend you take a look at any of the videos I've done over the last basically 3 weeks, and you can learn a little bit more. But what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of do a little bit of a flooding concept. One that I really like is to put the B receiver on a streak, like just smart route down the Z Spot and Go corner route. I'm going to motion that route across the formation, putting the tight end on a delay fade. And then what we're going to look for on this is I might even put the outside receiver on an out route and just put the running back on a curl. That'll leave him wide open in the middle of the field. But what you end up with on something like this is the ability to have a check down in the middle of the field if you can manipulate a spy right there. Then you can roll out looking for right bumper, and then you can release your tight end down the middle. So we'll go ahead and kind of show you right there. I kind of sat on the route to the running back there a little bit longer than I wanted to. But we'll go ahead and show you now that the route that we motioned initially is actually a good route to throw here. So let's go ahead and set that up again. Again, your route combination with your running back and your X receiver, pretty much up to you. The only constants are the smart route corner, the streak, the motion, and then the tight end delay fade. So what I typically will do here in this situation is I'm looking to hit a rollout, and then I want to hit right bumper over the top of the zone drop. So you see that he keeps running, and that's the area of the field that you want to really attack with him. Another thing that I will do is I won't let that corner route set. It technically is a corner route, but when you motion it across, it becomes a post. I won't let that route set. So I'll be quick. I'll set up my running back and my receiver first. So I'll do something like this where I start the motion, immediately put him on the delay fade, and as soon as he crosses, boom, right there, I snap the ball. Now he runs, and he's not going to stop running. He's just going to keep going into this area. That's a little bit more of an open throw when you don't let him set on the opposite side of the formation. So you've got these setups that are like this that you can actually work in, tight end delay fades, to the rollout side. It's kind of like running the all crosser. You're kind of rolling to the right, looking for the deep throw over the top to the right, and then throwing back across your body. But there are also obviously setups that are a little bit more like, underneath oriented as well. So let's say for whatever reason, I know for one, we have a lot of people that still run man coverage. They don't really have a one step ahead anymore, but let's say for whatever reason you're facing, the Mike Blitz Zero meta. Not too many people still run this, but for those that do, here's an example. We all know that this little route that players like to throw, this little motioned, it's technically the Z spot fade, or not the Z spot fade, the clear out fade. Let's say for whatever reason you wanted to, if you had a hot route master, maybe you put the guy on a post or whatever, you can motion Tyreek across, put this guy on the delay fade, and then snap the ball, and then you kind of sit in the pocket. And if Tyreek burns past this guy, great. If not, you do your rollout, beat the man coverage, throw it back across your body to the open tight end down the middle. So, man coverage, there are different setups for man coverage. Obviously, there are setups that can beat underneath zone. So if we're still in that Mabel call that I just showed you with Mike Blitz 3, maybe you go to a setup that's more Let me think here. Let me go with, how about you go with something like maybe mesh post. I think that's a good example. A lot of people will do something that kind of looks like this. I mean, this would be a short yardage setup, but maybe you have a flat to B, a slant to right bumper, out route to X. Let me go ahead and set up the Mabel call. So the 5 and the 25 on both sides, with a spy and a hook, a middle of the field user. This guy's kind of the middle of the field player, but you go ahead and motion hill across, immediately put the tight end delay fade. Now all of a sudden you're snapping the ball and looking for either your slant, basically back in this area, boom, to beat the Mabel, your wheel route to the left in the seam to beat the Mabel, and then if that fails, the user has to be left or right. I mean, they have a choice. Both are open if they don't use it. I mean, you've got the throw to 26, you got the throw to Tyreek over here, and then if the user is out there heavy on either of those, then you're in a spot where now you just release your tight end delay fade. So let's say for whatever reason Murray decides to play Tyreek, and we'll pretend. I think Tyreek's still going to beat Murray on this play, but for the sake of pretending, we'll say that the user is over there, right? So maybe you set up a route combo like this, motion the guy across. Maybe you get flushed, the pressure kind of forces you right. Now all of a sudden he's sitting on that. Maybe just roll out, pop this back over the middle, right? So the Mabel coverage is great against bunch. A lot of players struggle to beat this coverage because of the fact that it allows you to set the varying depths of sideline zones. But the fact that you can control a tight end delay fade, especially against this meta, giving you a late option over the middle, is going to hold the user, and the user's already responsible for so much in the middle of the field that this is a real chore to defend. Obviously when people run your Oakland, or I'm sorry, your Las Vegas book or the Seattle book, you expect them to audible into the bunch tight end from the regular bunch, and that's kind of a tell that they want to throw a tight end delay fade. Well, if you have regular bunch, this motion is something that is so dangerous for you. Now, again, I want to reiterate that if you run bunch offset Carolina, that does not work. When you motion the receiver in Carolina, instead of the tight end stepping on, it's the other receiver that steps on. So bunch offset would be the outlier formation in this. So keep that in the back of your mind as you work through this. But that is today's video, guys, how to make a tight end delay fade work in bunch. If you guys like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Again, this was a tip that was in our vault almost 3 months ago. So if this is something that is news to you, consider taking a look at gridirongameplans.gg. We constantly got stuff up there on the website. Just saw one of the pro players lauded for a defense that they held on to for the Madden Bowl yesterday, and shoot, that defense was on Gridiron 2 months ago. So that's not me throwing shade. That's just saying that there's content that's definitely ahead of the curve on the website. So if you guys like this video, definitely go check it out. Otherwise, we'll be right back here tomorrow with our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.